We got two watching. Give everybody a few minutes to get in. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Let me move this down just a hair. Hope the lighting's all right, guys and gal. Went from 2 to 1. We're losing people. Now we're back to 2. I am not seeing my chat at all. I don't know what's going on there. There we go. That's better. Mr. Willie, how do? Mr. Fisher, I've got half my screen cut off. Can you guys see the whole sign? Let me do something here. Hang on. That's a little better. Mr. Glenn, how are you? Brother Brian, Bryce, Rusty. All is well, all is well. Just had a procedure on Thursday, doing my pain chart like a good little boy, hoping that sooner than later we can get C2 and 3 and C3 and 4 nerves burned in my neck. That's the hopes. Hey guys, Lego. Howdy Boneyard, how are you? Mr. Williams, great to see you. Yep, Miss Zippo is in the house. She'll say hi here momentarily. You guys hear me okay? Is the lighting okay? Right on, Willie. Great. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I moved the light so that it wasn't behind me, it was in front of me, so you guys could have better lighting. And I can see everything that's going on. It doesn't want to hang straight. Everything's backwards to me. Mike the Tractor Guy and Rusty Repairs. So Bryce, what do you think of my digs? Bryce was the one that had this made for me, for those of you guys that don't know. George, I just went Thursday and had some injections done in my neck, numbing agents and cortisone. It's a second round of that. I have to keep a pain schedule. It's to determine if I'm a good candidate to have nerve ablation, something to that effect, where they go in and actually just burn the nerves. So I'm hoping that that'll happen sooner than later. Mr. Seltzer, how do? Wild Bill, how do? Take a look at your new video from Boneyard. Boneyard, I will do that. Is it on the wheelhorse? No, I see a 53 Country Squire tractor. Right on. Okay, Mr. Boneyard, I will take a look at that at the end of the live stream. Of course I am, Bryce. Of course I am. Of course I am. I don't want to get it dirty, though, so I haven't taken it out to the shop. So let me intro this. I get questions a lot in the comment sections of various videos, and I always answer my comments, even videos from 10 years ago. I get the notification, I answer it. And I get questions along the lines of, here's an example, a recent one that I got. I'm going up a hill and my tractor loses power. What's wrong? That is such a broad question. I need details in the questions. I need exact symptoms in the questions. I can usually help people, but I need to know exactly what's happening. You know, if what kind of tractor is it? Is it a standard transmission, a variable drive transmission, a hydrostat transmission? Is it, I need to know all the details. Pardon me and my Diet Coke. I have to know all the details in order to be able to help you guys. So for the people that aren't watching this immediately right now, that are picking up on it later, take note when you're trying to ask people for questions. Ask people questions about something that you think they know something about. Be as broad and involved and thorough as you can in your question asking, so that we can better help you without having to do the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth thing. I've got a number of people that email me, and we've been emailing long enough that they know when they email me about a question about something, they're giving me all the little details and all the little idiosyncrasies of the issues that they're having. And I'm much more able to help in that regard, because I'm literally flying blind. It's like me taking my glasses off, putting a blinder on, and helping you guys to fix your machines. And the more information I have, the less blind I am, and the better I can help you guys. So now that that's out of the way, let me get over here to the comments. New digs look great. I'm glad you like it, John. I've got a dedicated office and a dedicated viewing space now for the live streams and potentially other videos. This entire space here is 6 feet wide, and I remember measuring, I think it's 12 feet deep. It's a nice little space. Mr. Schmidt, how do? So is my neck still flipping you over, or is it still just Arctic blizzard by you, and that's why the shop is harder? Is it both? It's both. Thomas Wiener, how do? It's gravity. Yeah, it is, David. Bryce, it's both. I have been getting a whole lot done in the house. Some much needed, long neglected things done in the house. There is nothing pressing in the shop. I don't have somebody saying, I need this right now. I did go on a house call to the pawn shop's warehouse over in Anderson, Indiana, and spent a few hours over there resurrecting 9 snowblowers before our last big snowfall. I've got 7 of the 9 going. 2 of the 9 were total lost causes. They needed more than what they were worth. So to say I'm not doing anything is not correct. I am. It's just not getting shot on the video. A lot of it's not even really video worthy. I should have taken my camera to me to Anderson. There was a lot of good information, and being able to resurrect these mostly 2-cycle snowblowers. Let's see. Oh, yes, yeah, I did, Bryce. I've worn it out in the shop a couple of times, but typically what I'll do is throw my apron on over it. I don't want to get it messed up. Mr. Williams, you're looking forward to smoky videos. I'm looking forward to smoky videos too. I really am. I've got to get the jobs out of the way that are in the shop right now, though. One of the biggest jobs ready to go in the shop is a 18-foot trailer that I've got to put a winch and a spotlight on. Once that's out, I can take and fill. Mr. Sloan, Brother Sloan, great to see you too. I need to clear out enough room in the shop because I've got the Z950R in there and a Z665 and a neighbor's Troy Bill and a lot of other stuff in there I've got to get out in order to get that trailer in. So may do some videos on the trailer because I'll be building the mounts for the winch and building a high tower for the spotlight. But yes, George, I want to get Smokey in, up, and on the lift. I just started it the other day, fired up after I turned the fuel on, started up great. Mr. Ozengay Simplicity, can you do the next week live stream out the side showing some yard work? Sick of this cold already to be outside tinkering. I hear you. Mr. Danny, good to see you too. Fuller Motors. Hey, it has been a minute. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. You're looking good too. Boo! The crazy Cajun's here. Wireman Bob. Sorry you're late. You're out working on a carb. How am I doing? Wireman Bob, I'm glad to hear that you are out there working. Don't tell me it's still that twin. Please tell me it's still not that you're not still working on that opposed twin. I know you've been having quite a few issues with it. Let's see what else has really been going on. I've gotten on this kick, and I think I'm going to enjoy it because it's going to help me to eat healthier. Some of you may have seen the knife that I had on the last live stream. I went ahead and bought a couple more. Bought a really, really nice end grain acacia cutting board. Went to the grocery today. Got a bunch of fresh vegetables, fresh seafood, fresh meats, and I'm going to start eating more healthy. But I may start doing some cooking videos over on the Zippo Ranch channel. You guys can see how Zippo flies when he's cooking right here on the Zippo Ranch channel. Well, okay, Bob, shoot me an email. Tell me what issues you're having. Those opposed twins sometimes will seem like it's a carb issue when it's actually a floating valve issue or a ignition issue. So shoot me a message and give me an email and give me the detailed symptoms of what's going on. See if I can help. Planning on a fixed winch or modular winch to hook up to multiple spots. We're going to use a fixed spot for the winch, but with pulleys that can be mounted left or right that will pull the cable over to that side in case you're trying to pull something up on sideways. So it'll have two split rail pulleys that you just split in half, put the cable in, pull them back this way, then just put your ring through and wrap around one of the outriggers on the trailer. It was originally a car trailer, which is really, really nice. It's super heavy duty. That a full deck was put on in the center and storage ramps and all that. So it's not a block and tackle we'll be using, just a single pulley. And the single pulley will serve two purposes also. It can also be hooked directly back to the winch so that we can double the pulling strength. And it's an 8,000 pound winch, so it should be capable of pulling vehicles up on the car trailer, as well as riding mowers and what have you. So, Glenn, when it's smoking, it's cooking. When it's burnt, it's done. Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm saying, Glenn. That's. I'm so glad Glenn's here. He gets me. He gets me. I know you guys can ask Miss Zippo if I'm an okay cook or not. A Blackstone griddle, they're sweet. I've got one. It's a 2-burner that is on my stove. I use it all the time. It's very well seasoned. I've already got one. Yep. But I'll be doing a lot of healthy greens, cooking. My cholesterol's fine. I'm healthy as far as that respect goes, but I'm tired of just sticking something in the microwave and munching down on it. That's simplicity. S is for simplicity. That's what the payments are for simplicity, boo. Oh, hey, Zippo's a very good cook, especially on the grill. See, now, I already know that Brian Ozengay Simplicity is going to argue that he's the better griller, the better grill cook, but he's got one up on me. He's got a butcher shop that makes killer brats. So if I had a place like that around here, Ozengay Simplicity and I would be going toe to toe. Next weekend's menu actually is, going to be for Valentine's Day dinner. We went and got it all today. Is going to be lobster tail. It's a surf and turf lobster tail. I think they're 8-ounce sirloin steaks because it's a little over a pound for the two. So lobster tail, sirloin, asparagus and hollandaise, and then a rice side. So hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. Hoping. Recognize the S now. Dang, you used to be a Simplicity dealer years ago, and you didn't recognize the S. Boo! Oh, you found a better one, and it's over here. Will they make a continuous rope, or they make links, or they'll do whatever you want? Sent me a question above. Got to stop the grill talk. Getting hungry. You did, Mike? Okay, give me just a second. Let me scroll, guys. Hang on. Should the carb on your 725 be painted orange? No, absolutely not. Leave it pot metal. Leave it pot metal. The paint will not last. Does not matter what kind of paint you use. Shy of powder coating, it will not. It won't stick, and then it'll end up looking like crap. Just give it a good cleaning and leave it au natural. The air filter neck and the oil bath air filter, yes, those get painted. Brother Sloan, thank you. It's still kind of a work in progress. I find little goofy things every now and again, and I'll stick them up there. Why I have an alligator in an egg popping out, just because I found it while I was cleaning. So figured I'd stick it up there. Mr. Turner, how do? Mr. Willie, been wrapping your brain about to take to work breakfast. Mixing tater tots, ham, scrambled eggs with cheese in a pan to cut and stick it in baggies for the microwave. Wrap them in a flatbread or a tortilla, Willie. Real quick and easy eats. So how have you been, Mr. Miller? And Mrs. Zippo, Mr. Miller is saying hello. You met him at the tractor show. And Brother Joe is also saying hello. Zip says, I must have information for broth. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. He knows that. He'll let me know. Hopefully. Sir Rooney, what's happening? Hey, no problem. We'd have been better off on a bobsled going to the grocery today. And it was funny. Whenever Miss Zippo and I go to the grocery, we're not in a hurry. So we were there for, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Didn't get a lot. We were just, and we kept stopping in the aisles and talking and telling stories and whatnot. But we just all the way there was nothing but there were no places anywhere on any roads where you can get a grip. And we came out from Walmart and the roads were all melted and fine and clear because we've been hovering right at that 32 mark. So we got home just fine. And then my daughter came over with her boyfriend. They stayed till about 5:15. And then Miss Zippo went home. And when Miss Zippo headed home, she said the roads got really bad and she had to keep it nice and slow. So that worried me a little bit. We'll catch up. You assume the carb you're sending me is already stripped of paint then? Yes, you are correct, Mike. I have a couple of carbs that have some black bomb paint on them, which were original from the factory. The carbs just didn't get used very much before they wound up in a parts bin, but the carburetor I'll be sending you will be a clean 3-bolt. Do you have the intake elbow? I do not have an extra oil bath filter, but do you have the intake elbow and an air cleaner? Same here, Tim. I don't know if I'll make it in May, but I am definitely ready for spring. Dano, how to do, how to do, how to do. Aw, Miss Zippo, Glenn missed you too. Things are going pretty good, Dano. Thanks for joining in. We're talking about a number of different things. We're talking about carburetors. We're talking about cooking. Miss Letha Varga. Miss Letha Varga. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Mike, are you in any kind of a hurry yet for the spindle, the carburetor, and there was a third thing? What was the third thing? I've got it in my phone. Mr. Wood, kind sir, it's great to have you here. Doesn't matter when you pop in. Great to have you. Great to have you. Okay, somebody grab me a question out of your hats. Something that's been percolating up there for a while. Give me something we can talk about. Have I played with the mill any? Tim, that's a good question. Yes. I'm trying to remember what it is that I did on the mill. I used the mill for drilling because I had to make sure that it was a perfectly perpendicular 90-degree hole. So I just had the drill chuck in it, and then I pulled it out. And what did I use? I milled something. What did I mill? Pulled a collet out, threw a 5/8 4 flute in just to face. What did I face? I don't remember. I've used it a handful of times, not a lot of times, but yeah, nothing major that took any great length of setup or anything like that. What's Miss Zippo LOL and about? You asked me one, Bryce. Okay, let me scroll up. Oh, wow. Shaper and a full-size mill. Fantastic. Are you going to run three-phase? Let me scroll up here just a minute, guys. On a new engine, you don't even have to touch the cylinder on a new engine to improve your horsepower. Just do a cam and valve springs and a Mikuni carburetor, which has the plunger type, like a motorcycle type carburetor. You do those three things and you're going to help boost and increase your horsepower. You're going to have more flow through the engine. The springs are not going to float. And depending on what you're going to do with the engine, I suggest watching Cars and Cameras. Watch Cars and Cameras and Redbeard's Garage, those two channels. Watch their builds on those engines. There's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 kits you can get from GoPowersports.com. No, this is not a paid endorsement, but you can go to Redbeard's Garage or you can go to Cars and Cameras and watch their videos, and they both have discount codes that you can go in and order parts. But if you're talking about a Predator engine or the new Tecumseh engines, is it Tecumseh? Or they no Lawson? New Lawson engines, I think they are. Not Lawson either. Yeah, it is. It is Lawson. Mike, the tractor guy. Yes, it's Lawson's. All right, let me scroll back. See what else we have here. Got to ask, is Rooney Sears a Sears guy? Yes, he is. Sir Rooney is a Sears guy. The old Sears. Spindle carb rebuild and a muffler. That's right. Okay. And you need a bracket for the choke cable. That's a tough sell on those early ones. I actually made mine. And you're talking, I assume, the bracket that mounts to the side of the transmission tunnel, your shifter tunnel. I actually made mine out of a belt stop, and I took a washer and machined a thick washer, or a spacer rather, and machined it down so that the hole was the same size as the belt stop, and then drilled a hole in the belt stop, put my Z-bend in there, and I used that mounted to the hole as my choke for a long time on the old Squire. Then I found an original choke cable. Mike, if you want, I can take detailed pictures of what it looks like, and you can literally just use a belt stop from underneath the decks that's actually mounted to the to an idler pulley that comes out, will bend down a little bit for the lift, come up, and then come up to keep the belt from sliding off the pulley. They work great for a choke lever. Give me just a second. Let me catch up. Never heard it being called that, so I figured it would dub her with that name. Letha Varga. Letha Varga. Letha Varga. Letha Zippo. Miss Zippo. Glenn, 7116 with the side PTO. Did he make, or did they have one at a time set up that was underneath the center to run the snowblower head? I assume you're talking about the clutch itself. Some of them you could put a clutch, an electric clutch, on the front of the engine and mount it. That's great, Tim. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. You can mount an electric clutch there. There are also manually operated friction clutches that could be mounted to the front of the engine to use to run the snowblower. Otherwise, you got to run all the way back to your cone clutch for your deck engagement. I hope that answers that. It's got a nice ring to it. It should be Mrs. Zippo Varga. Miss Lisa Varga. Miss Zippo Lisa Varga. Middle name Lisa. Miss Zip. I'll quit. Brother Joe, I love you. I will see you soon. Be careful. Tell the family I said howdy. Mr. Miller, going to open up a small shop here to fix anything and help you fix the old stuff. That's awesome, Tim. Yeah, that's more or less what I do. My mill is limited in its capabilities, capacity-wise, but for what I'm doing and for what the mill was used for prior to me getting it, it was used for rebuilding Volkswagen engines, air-cooled Volkswagen engines. So it was boring engines. It was milling heads, doing valves, the whole nine. So it's decent enough, but it's just not a big mill. I just don't like that it's a round post mill. Like the tractor guy, you need the one that mounts somewhere around the carb to hold the cable from slipping. Okay. In that case, they are typically, I'll take some pictures and show you. That's something else that you can make, Mike. Throttle, not the choke. The throttle. Okay. The throttle can either go up the top and down through the holes beside the throttle rod, or they can come from the bottom and go up through the bottom and attach to the top of the throttle rod. The throttle rod, about 2/3 of the way down, has a little hole in it for the Z-bend. All you need for your throttle cable to mount it is a tiny little piece of metal with 2 holes in it and 1 bolt with 1/4-20 threads will go into the top of your intake elbow, and then that tiny little plate. I'll see if I've got one of those little plates for you. But yeah, I'll see. Yeah, I think I should have. I should have one of those, and I'll get one and throw that in too. I need to write it down, or I'm going to forget. Mike, I'll tell you what. Just email me to grab one of those. I know I've got a bunch of them. Just email me to grab one for you and throw it in a box. You're going to have specialty nuts for your cable to set your high and low throttle. Glenn, you do have a side cone clutch butt to run a snowblower. I got to have a different bracket to change the angle of the idler pulley. It keeps throwing the belt. Okay. Glenn, the 7116 body style is just a little out of my wheelhouse. Not a lot, just a little. Let me do some looking at the documentation that I have and familiarize myself with it. And if you would, email me over at zippovarga@gmail.com just to remind me. And we'll see what we can get done together in figuring out how to solve your problem. Mr. Boot, he's got one for me. Haven't done any research yet on it. Do they have an aluminum intake that a 2-barrel Nicky carb fits for a V-twin Briggs, about 24 horse, you think? You talking about, or is the is the Briggs an Intech or a Vanguard? Because I believe the Vanguard, you can use the 2-barrel Nicky carb on the intakes that they come with, but not on the Intex. And this is the older Intex. The newer Intex that went away from the plastic intake to the aluminum intakes, they may be able to accommodate the 2-barrel Nicky carbs. Not a Vanguard, so it's an Intech. All right. You should be able to use the late model intake and possibly a plenum, aka an adapter plate, to be able to mount that carburetor, but it has to be the aluminum intake on the later model Intex. And it should just bolt right up. They did not, I don't believe, when they went and revamped the Intex so that it didn't have the overheating problems, other than using the aluminum intake runner. I don't think they altered the heads at all. I think everything bolts in the same place, but you may have to test fit. Like the tractor guy, I believe you need to throttle link with the nuts. Ran into an issue with the nuts stripping on the threads. You'll email me a list of everything. Okay. Yeah, those are weird nuts because the little quarter inch nuts that are on that rod, the like number 6 the threads on the rod on the top. Okay. I can send you that whole assembly with the top and bottom nut and the bracket that bolts on. I can do that for you. Mr. Warden, sir. You like that? Hey, everybody. Mr. Warden. Right there. And I knew, man, me and the missus is here. Mr. Warden is the one that made that sign for me. Right there. Right there. Okay, Tim, I'll look for your email. You believe you need to throttle link with the nuts. I read that. Oh, yeah, we had a slick day today. Absolutely. No doubt about it. It was a rough one. We went to the grocery store and slid all the way there. But oddly, after the grocery, all the roads were clear. We were hovering on that 32-degree mark. But yeah, we slid all the way in. Okay, Boo. That's my take. That's my understanding, just with the aluminum intake runner on the later model Intex, is that you can use the double barrel Nickies on those. Or if it's a Vanguard, any of the Vanguard should be able to accept the 2-barrel Nicky carbs. Yeah, I know that I've got a few of them, Mike, so that wouldn't be a problem at all. We'll just keep adding to the list. We will. Yeah, some of them, you're not too awfully far from me. Oh, we've been doing pretty good here, guys. We're down to 23. It's just after 8:30. We'll give it a couple or 3 more minutes and call her quits for the night. And I want to thank you guys for hanging in there and waiting for me to get back on for the live streams. I didn't do it last week because I didn't want to compete with the stupid bowl. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Armin Bob, have a great week. I will certainly try. Okay, please do, Mr. Bob. You call it my Zippo list. I call it my mic list. Now back to my own stuff that I'm working on. I have 23 jobs waiting. 23 jobs are waiting. As far as what's going to need machine work, probably 0, unless I have to make a bushing or something like that. Mr. Willie, shocking how many parts on the 1823 Vanguard parts are same, sumps, rods, struts. Yeah, It is. It's mainly head work and cam profiles that changes the horsepower ratings. Yeah, it is neat. And valve diameters, and stuff like that. And you'll notice they all have a dished piston. Every last one of them's got a slightly dished piston. That enables you to go ahead and switch cam profiles, put heavier springs in, and get a higher lift, longer duration, and not smack the top of the piston, and get some higher horsepower out of them. And Bryce, this all plays into mostly head work and breathing in your earlier question. Boring out a cylinder 20 thousandths over is not going to increase your horsepower so much as just increasing the breathing that the existing brand new engine can do and is capable of. So you can give you a Chevy engine, for example, a 5.3 liter LS engine, Gen 2, Gen 1, whichever. You can actually get 1,000 horsepower out of a stock, bare bones stock block bore and stroke and cranks and cam, or not cam, but stock block, stock bores, the whole nine. You can get 1,000 horsepower out of that engine. You don't have to touch the cylinder walls or change the pistons. Everything is all aspiration. How much air can you put into it? How much air can you get out? So I hope that helps. Warden, thinking about buying a Nissan hard body to replace your old gas hog Dodge 2500s. If anyone know anything about these trucks? Has under 150,000 miles. I would lean towards the Toyota Tundras over a Nissan. They're just more reliable, Mr. Warden. I'd go the Toyota route. If you were going to go I just totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, the Nissan hard body, I'm not sure exactly what hard body is, but as far as dependability, Toyotas seem to have it nailed down. Or single to two barrel carbs just came to mind hearing you talk about intakes. Yeah, you can actually just make intakes and put an individual carb on either side. Just make sure your millimeter, you're only going to be feeding one cylinder, so you can use much smaller carburetors. Rings for 3 hit and miss engines next week. Making the rings. That's cool. Mr. Bill, everyone, old tractors and farming. Howdy. You caught me just as I was getting ready to close it out here, fellas. But yeah, Warden, Nissan doesn't have the best and greatest reliability. Do a little bit of Googling and research on what you're looking for. I think you'll find the Toyotas are much more rugged if you're looking to go to the foreign market. And I can't say as I really blame you, because even American vehicles are more foreign than American now. So, Willie, buddy has a 2-barrel with the plastic intake. He wants to go with the aluminum so it won't warp it again. Yeah, that's a big problem. That's why they went to the aluminum intakes. 99 Dodge 2500 with the V10 wouldn't give it up. Hey, you got brake Stratton's easy. You're looking for one. I do not. I did have some years ago. It was a kickstart, but I don't any longer know. Now, most of the older engines that I have right now, I have a model BR, which is very similar to the ZZ. I have a BR. It's a BR6. Nice low hour engine. Search it on my YouTube channel there, Old Tractors and Farming. It's an old Husky branded Briggs. And I have videos of it running. I have videos of my youngest daughter starting it when she was younger. Nothing more than an air pump, you're right. You got a 48 Mighty Mite tractor, very rare, and needs a Briggs ZZ. Well, I can certainly keep my eyes open. $2,000 Mike just won something smaller for going back and forth to work, and keep the 2,500 for towing. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I would look to the Toyota Tacoma myself, or the Tundra. O-rings were superseded with thicker paper gaskets, doubled them up myself before. I've also one seems no problem. Old tractors and farming, no problem at all. I'm late to the party. Ogre Beast, yeah, you are. I'm getting ready to shut her down here very, 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 very shortly. All right, everybody. Over already. I've been at it for 41 minutes. Zippo. Glenn, I will have a good night. Thank you very, very much. Farmer JT, howdy. 12-year-old farmer and gardener that lives in Colorado, and you're new here. Farmer JT, every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Eastern Time, or Eastern Time, I'm on. I've been on now for going on 42 minutes, Farmer JT. So come on in here next week at 8 p.m. and look for me. If you subscribe and hit the bell icon, when I'm getting ready to go live, you'll get notified. All right, everybody. I'm out of here. I love you all. Thank you very, very much for hanging out with me for this long. And looking forward to a few emails, one from Bob, one from Mike, one from Bryce. Bryce, I sent you a reply back, I think. Ogre Beast, take care. Great to have you in the mix. David, happy hunting. Mr. Willie, we'll see ya. Old Tractors and Farming. That's a great name. LT Wood, Mr. Wood, we'll see ya. Boo, we'll see ya. Glenn, we'll see ya. Farmer JT, we will see ya. Warden, we'll see ya. Good night, Bill. Good night, everybody. Ogre Beast, I'm out of here.